happens thereafter. Smile. It's the day after the ritual. Anna and I have travelled to the merchant town to visit Ren. We soon arrive at Haku's house. There we find Ren, hanging up the laundry by herself. Hey, Ren, how are you? Ren throws herself straight at me. Because of our difference in height, her head rams into a rather delicate part of my body. Ouch. I writhe in agony. Words aren't forming. Please, why? Why did you have to put me in such horrendous pain as a way of greeting? She only stares at me blankly, head tilted to one side. This poor child has no idea. Ren, child, please don't charge at people without knowing exactly where your head is going to hit. She smiles sweetly at me. It set me at ease, but there's also something deeply unsettling about it. Kano, who's standing next to me, begins quietly. I recall what happened when we arrived back in town, and Ren opened her eyes. She sobbed and sobbed, asking where her mother was. When she'd gotten lost in the mountains before, apparently she'd complained about wearing an old yukata and begged her mother to buy her a new one. And she hadn't been on good terms with mother ever since. Ren informed us, crying. She wailed and wailed. Calming Ren down last night had been quite the struggle. However, now, having had a day to process it, she seems to be faring better. Huh? Tears begin to well in Ren's eyes.
ごめんね、お母さん。あんなことするんじゃなかった。
Even though she'd been smiling at me a second ago, she was now a sobbing mess, repeating "I'm sorry" over and over again. A moment later, however, she began to wipe away her tears with her palms.
でもね、お兄ちゃん。
What?
お母さん言ってたんだよね。私を一人で置いていったら、私がお母さんのこと嫌いになっちゃうかもしれないって、それが嫌だって、そう言ってたんだよね。
I nod. Upon returning to this town last night, Ren asked me what her mother's final words had been. So I told her in great detail what her mother had spoken to me in short interval while Ren was asleep. She was worried that you'd come to hate her, and she said she couldn't bear the thought, but she also said that you were incredibly strong.
私、お母さん大好きだよ。嫌いになったりなんかしないよ。だから、お母さんにごめんなさいが言えなかったの、すごい悲しいけど。でもね、お兄ちゃん、お母さんは私のこと、これからもずっとどこかで見ててくれるよね。
Wherever she is, you say?
だからきっと、私のごめんなさいの気持ちも、いつかお母さんに届くよね。
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
お母さんがそばにいてくれる。だから一人でも寂しくなんかないんだよ、私。
She then smiles a bright smile that shines through the pain in her heart. In her heart.
私はお母さんが言うような強い子になるの。
That's why I'm gonna smile, Oni-chan. She declares to me, beaming all the while. Kana narrows her eyes as she looks over Ren.
そうだ、聞いてお兄ちゃん。
What is it?
私決めたの。私ね、お兄ちゃんのお嫁さんになろうって思うの。
She smiles as wide as she can. Excuse me? Well, that certainly came out of left field. I'm feeling a bit confused. Ren, how does that follow from anything we were just talking about?
だってお母さんも人間の男の人を好きになったんだよね。
Huh?
私、お兄ちゃんのこと好きだよ。
She gazes up at me demurely.
だから私もお母さんとお揃いだよね。
I'm not sure if I should be frank with her. I simply move on to a different subject since she's still young. My judgment falters and I decide to tell her a truthful lie. Well, I suppose that wouldn't be too bad. I give her head a light ruffle.
ロリコン。
Huh?
幼女趣味。
I turn around to find Kana eyeing me with disgust. Is that a compliment?
そんなはずないでしょう。そうだ、それじゃあお姉ちゃんは愛人になればいいよね。愛人。
It's a pretty comical sight seeing Kana flare with envy toward a small child. I gaze up at the night sky. It's clear from end to end, with not a single white feather to be seen. The rite of departure.
お兄ちゃん
He is hoping that there's no need for that ritual to be repeated come next year. I dare to say so, still glaring upon the sky. From now on, I can't simply focus on trying to save those who are targeted. I need to work out a way to eliminate whatever the root cause is. I stare silently at the twin moons sitting in the sky. No feathers to be seen. But upon closing my eyelids, please save us. I once again hear those voices begging for salvation. Thanks for the grub. I put my hands together and give thanks. Mia's dinner was superb tonight, though that's nothing new. It's been roughly a week since the rite of departure concluded. The days passed by without incident. Things were truly peaceful.
ユウも食器洗うのを手伝ってくれる
Oh, sure. Stand next to her and help clean the dishes and silverware. After we finish rinsing off the final plate, I look at her. Why didn't you ask Kana to help you? Not that I have any particular issue cleaning the dishes. I don't. Isn't she usually the one who handles the cleanup and whatnot? I'm a bit curious as to why she's not here, given the fact that she's usually the first to volunteer.
そうね。それはそうなんだけど、なんだか最近お皿を割るのが多いから。
Wow, really?
うん。昨日だけで10枚くらい。割った分は次の日に買ってきてくれてるみたいなんだけど。でも今日は当番を交代してもらって別のことをしてもらおうと思ったの。
What's she doing now?
お洗濯。洗濯機を回してもらってるんだけど、何かがショートしたみたいね。
She throws up an awkward smile. How on earth did you short circuit a washing machine? Do you short circuit a washing machine? I can't help but do the same.
ユーマ、怒らないでね。
What's this about?
お皿割ったり洗濯機壊したりしちゃってるみたいだけど、でもきっとわざとじゃないって思うから。
Right.
私のお父さんが言ってた。わざとやったことじゃない失敗は起こるようなものじゃないんだって。
I see.
だからわざとやったことじゃない失敗を怒ったりしないでね。
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't seriously get upset with her over something like this anyway. But it does get me wondering, has she always been this clumsy?
さあ、疲れてるんじゃない？
Maybe. I'm not wholly convinced, but it's a possibility. People have good days and bad days. Some days they just aren't at peak performance. It could be a simple case of that. I decide to leave the matter at that and move on. I finished with the dishes. I'm walking back to my room when suddenly I hear Yumu call to me from behind.
少し話があるんだけど、いいかな？
You want to talk to me about something, you said?
うん。
He nods somewhat timidly, although his face still remains as expressionless as ever.
これから何か用事がある？忙しいかな？
I'm not doing anything in particular. Now that dinner is through with, I'm contemplating getting my diary entry done with before getting ready for bed. I have nothing urgent to take care of for the rest of the day, and I'm in no rush. Nothing stands in the way of me listening to what Ayumi wants. The only thing left in my schedule for the day is bedtime. I'm totally free, so yeah, what do you want to talk about?
ありがとう。でも、ここじゃちょっと、あれだから。
He glances around nervously.
僕の部屋に来てもらってもいいかな？
Sure. Everything alright though? Nothing bad happened to you or anything?
どうだろう。それをユーマに確認したいんだ。
You did?
うん。そうなんだ。
The uncharacteristic seriousness in his tone is making me feel a slight bit anxious. This isn't only because of what happened so recently with Haku and the ritual. Bad things often seem to come in sets. It'll be one after another in quick succession, and you're left wondering when the streak of bad luck will end. With that, we move to Ayumi's room.
何も接待できるものがなくてごめん。お茶だとかそういうのを出せばいいんだろうけど。
Oh, no, don't worry about it. You and I live under the same roof, so I'm no guest.
そう。
Seems like he's finally starting to settle into his new life here in the dorm. Things were a bit rocky at the start, but oh well. It's all in the past now. Anyhow, back to the situation at hand. And he and I sit across from each other at the table, which happens to be one of the very few things inside this room beside his bed. So what's going on?
うん。これは僕の気のせいだったらそれでいいんだけど、この頃あの子の様子が少しおかしいと思うのは気のせいかな。
More than usual, you mean? She?
そう。あの子。
Who is her?
カナだよ。南カナ。
So what's the matter with Kana, you think?
この1週間くらいかな。なんだか元気がないというか、そんな気がするんだけど。それに最近お夕飯の前にどこかへ一人で出かけて、なかなか帰ってこないこともあるし。
So she seems sad, and she's been going out before dinner. Is that right?
僕にはそう見えてしまうんだけど、ユーマはどう思う？
Fine. He nods, looking me straight in the eye. Let me think. Now that he mentions it, I begin to ruminate. What has Kana's general behavior been like these past few days? Nothing. I can't seem to recall a thing. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I've noticed these things myself.
そう。
She doesn't seem to be acting out of the ordinary, at least to me. But if I start to think of the little things, according to Yumu, it's been going on this past week. And Mio also mentioned that Kana's been breaking plates like nobody's business. She also seems to have screwed up the washing machine, despite laundry supposedly being her forte. Serious things too, like putting in bleach instead of washing powder. That's about the gist of it. The bleach thing was something that happened today, incidentally. As for how that caused the washing machine to short circuit, I do not know. Now that I think about it, I do recall her leaving and going somewhere before dinner earlier. All by herself, and not to do any sort of shopping. When she returned, she was empty-handed. It looked like she'd been out on a stroll. But does that necessarily mean she's feeling under the weather? I could simply chalk it up to Kana being Kana and put the discussion to a close right here and now. But still, there's one tiny thing that's been itching at me. The ritual was 1 week ago. No shit. Ultimately, we were unable to save Haku. I know that it had an impact on Kana. There's simply no way it wouldn't.
気のせいだったらいいんだ。僕は少し神経質になりすぎてるのかもしれない。
No, sorry. I know I said I wasn't spotting those things myself, but that doesn't mean I can't think of reasons why she might be acting differently.
そうなんだ。
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm not sure how to best word my thoughts. How do I explain the ritual or the existence of the parallel worlds to him?
ユーマ。
What is it?
もしもあの子に何かあったのなら、ユーマ、君が少し気にかけてあげてほしいって僕は思うんだ。
Me?
そう、ユーマが。
So he says. Frankly, I'm not sure how to respond.
ごめん、ユーマ。
Huh? What are you apologizing for?
僕はちょっと変なことを聞いてしまったかもしれない。
That's all I wanted to talk about, he concludes, before returning to his usual expressionless self. Hey, Ayumu.
何？
Can I ask you something?
うん。お返しは必要だよね。誰かにお世話になったなら、それと同じか、それ以上のことでお返ししなくちゃいけないんだって、昨日読んだ本にそう書いてあったんだ。
Yeah, I agree with that. I smile before continuing. So my question...
うん。
If you're worried about Kana, why not just directly ask her yourself?
それは。
Yeah?
うん。僕は会話が苦手だし、それ以上に女の子が苦手みたいだから。
Right. I vaguely recall him telling me this before.
会話っていうのは本当に難しいって思うよ。僕がこうして何気なく吐き出した言葉が相手を傷つけちゃうことも不愉快な気持ちにさせちゃうこともあると、昨日読んだ本に書いてあった そうなんだって思った。
I see. Come to think of it, he is being much more loquacious than usual right now. Of course, considering the situation, that's something I shouldn't point out to him.
僕はそれが女の子相手だと余計にうまくいかないことが多いんだ。言葉を交わして意思の疎通を図るっていうことが、それをここで生活してみて強く思った。だから僕は女の子が苦手なんだ。ユーマとこうして話すのはそんなに難しくはないのに。
Ah, okay. That's why you've yet to mention anything to Kana yourself.
かもしれない。
You don't sound too certain, huh? I laugh.
僕が苦手意識を持っているものを投げかけられたとしても、相手はきっと不愉快なだけだろうから、そうやって必要以上にあの子から嫌われたくもないし。
Yeah.
僕が苦手意識を持っているものを投げかけられたとしても、相手はきっと不愉快なだけだろうから、そうやって必要以上にあの子から嫌われたくもないし。
All of a sudden, he makes a very sorrowful expression. I just don't have the courage, he says. Ayumu?
ともかくそういうわけだから、僕はちょっとあの子に直接話をしてみるのは怖いなって、そう思ったんだ。でもなんだかあの子がここ数日元気がないように僕には見えて気になったんだ。同じ建物に住んでいる人だから。仲間とは違うかもしれないけど、それでもみんなここに住む人たち全員元気な方がいいって思う。
Yeah, I understand. Thanks for telling me this. I plop my hand on top of his head.
ユーマ、
My responsibility to tend to the well-being of all the residents here, for the time being at least. Yet, you picked up on something that I failed to notice, so thank you for that. Starting tomorrow, I'll try to keep a watchful eye on Kana.
うん。そうしてくれると僕も安心だ。
Has Kana really been acting funny? I finished penning my diary entry for the day. I'm now lying in bed thinking about a few things that as I get ready to turn in for the night. I never expected a Yumu of all people to come to me with a concern like that, but yeah, if he thinks something's wrong, I ought to pay careful attention to Kana's behavior starting tomorrow. I hadn't thought about it until he brought it up, but there does seem to be something going on with her. Perhaps her behavior has been a bit out of the ordinary. Like something's weighing on her. Her body remains here, but her mind is in a different place, entirely, essentially. But I'm not completely certain. I hadn't thought anything of it until Ayumu mentioned something after all.
この頃はいろいろなことが密にあったから。
あ？
お弁当や料理のことや、そしてたたりにあの儀式、いろいろと慣れないうちにこれだけのことがいっぺんにあれば、それは心にも体にも疲労がたまったりするだろうさ。
Yeah, I see your point. What Mio is saying might be true.
本人にそれとなく聞いてみるのもいいんじゃないか。歩は直接聞けないからユーマに相談してきたわけだし。
Good idea. I'll see if I can find a chance to do tomorrow. The next day. Hey, Kana, got a minute? Once we finish breakfast, I stop Kana as she's about to head off to do some laundry and cleaning.
はい、何でしょうか。
Incidentally, she isn't wearing her maid outfit today. Perhaps she was just in the mood to dress casually today. Or, to borrow her words, she's in the mood to be a childhood friend. Her hair is also done in braids. What can I say? It really does a number on my heart. Anyway, everything alright, Kana? You haven't been fatigued recently, have you?
大丈夫ですよ、私。
She cocks her head to the side.
どこか変に見えますか？
No, you look fine.
ないんだけど。何ですか？
God damn it. Just Nandeska.
ないんだけど。何ですか？
She seems utterly puzzled. How to answer her? I'm not quite sure.
なるほど、そうですか。そういうことなんですね。ユーマさんが何を言いたいのかわかりましたよ、私。
Her cheeks suddenly flush red.
私の私服姿にときめいてくれたってことなんですよね、ユーマさん。ムラムラとしちゃいますか？脱ぎますか？
I mean, it's not the outfit, it's the hair, so, you know. You want me to strip naked for you? I mean, well, considering it's not the clothes that's doing the work. What? Never mind. What the? No, that's not even close. Heck, if the outfit was making me horny, then why would I even want you to take it off? Whatever the case, keep your hair the way it is.
髪ですか？
Nothing. You didn't hear that. Damn, that slip of the tongue nearly proved fatal. Anyway, look.
はい。
Seem like you've been feeling under the weather recently. According to Yumu.
ユーマさん？
Sorry, I just, well, wanted to make sure you were doing alright. You're not feeling sad or anything, are you? I also noticed you've been slipping out of the dorm until evening before dinner. I know it's not any of my business, but I can't help but be a bit curious. But it is your business. You are the acting manager. It is your business to be concerned about the people who live under the same roof as you. I mean, you aren't a little kid or anything, so I fully understand if you don't want me sticking my nose in your business or find it annoying or anything. Kana, are you following me? You're kind of spacing out.
もしかして。
He peers at me alluringly.
心配してくれるんですか、ユーマさん。
A little, I guess.
嬉しい。
Huh?
ユーマさんが心配してくれるなら、時にはちょっと風邪をひいてみるのもいいかもしれません。
I stand and watch it as her face lights up with joy. Well, I'm glad to see I'm glad to see. I guess my worries were misplaced.
安心ですか？
You seem happy, at least to me. So I suppose all those accidents you've been causing recently were just coincidence and nothing more, huh?
そうですね。
To tell you the truth, Ayumu was the one who mentioned to me that you'd seemed under the weather recently. He asked me to check up on you and make sure you are okay.
歩さんがですか？
Yeah. So I was a bit worried that maybe something been weighing on your mind lately, or something charges into me from behind. I turn around. It's Ayumu.
どうしてそんなこと言うの？
He's in full panic mode. Quite the rare sight from him. Huh? Well, I just thought I might as well tell her the truth. She reacted with delight when I told her I'd been worried about her. So I thought it was only fair to tell her who the real person who'd noticed was. Wait, were you eavesdropping on us?
それはユーマがちゃんとあの子に話を通してくれるかなって思って。
His face is bright red. Huh. I guess even he's capable of blushing like this.
とにかくお二人とも私を心配してくださっていたんですね。それは違いましたか？違わないけど。
He squeezes his eyes shut.
歩さん？ユーマが。
は？
はい、ユーマさんがどうしましたか？
He tightly grips the back of my shirt, then continues.
ユーマがその髪型ウサギが大好きだってそう言ってたけど。
I mean, you're not wrong, but he never said it to you. What? My face flushes red, just as red as Ayumu's in a split second. How did he know that? I know I've had the thought in my mind, but I swear I've never told anyone. I swear.
ユーマさん、それ本当ですか？
One of them begins to wriggle around bashfully, all the while fiddling with one of her braids.
どうしよう、なんだか恥ずかしくなってきましたけど。
No,
よろしければ触ってみますか？
She holds out the bread in her hand toward me. I feel like my mind is about to explode. Sure. I lightly grab hold of it. And then comes silence. What is this? Please, someone tell me. This is such a strange feeling. I turn around to seek out help, but Ayumu is gone. He ran away. I wonder why.
ユーマさん、変ですね。なんだかもぞもぞしますね、これ。
The awkward smile she directs at me spreads, and I start to feel a wave of embarrassment overcome me.
こっちの方も触ってみます？
What has possessed me? So tempted to actually nod and say yes. But before that can happen,
何やってんの君たちは？
saved by the Suzu. I look and am met with an ice-cold glare from Suzu, who's just entered the room. She raises a valid point. Anyway, I was slightly worried that the events from the ritual last week might still be weighing on Kana's mind. However, that evidently doesn't seem to be the case. At least to me, she appears to be happy and just fine. Ayumu, what was that for? Barge into his room and immediately begin barraging him with questions.
さっきのって
You know what I'm talking about. First thing, who the hell told you that I had a thing for Kana's hair? In a braid, not just her hair. There's something seriously wrong with me today. Words can't describe how embarrassing it is to voice and reveal this oddly specific fetish of mine. It makes me feel degenerate. I don't ever recall telling you.
見てたらわかるよ
You just knew?
そう僕は会話が苦手なんだだから知りたい相手のことをその相手から引き出せる機会が少ない誰かと仲良くなるにはまずその相手のことを十分に知らないといけないのに
Is this also something you got from that book you read? You know, it's an affirmation.
よくわかったね
I don't know. I just kind of got the sense that you were about to say that. So anyway, what were you saying? I continue, pressing the conversation forward.
だからそういった弱点のような部分を会話の必要ない人間観察で埋めようと思ったんだ
By observing them?
そう
Basically, you learned that I had a thing for braids through observation.
ユーマはあの子が髪型を変えると少し動揺するみたいだから当たってた
What? That I like braids, same thing.
ごめんユーマ勝手に影で探るような真似をして怒ったかな
Look, observing people's fine. Pointing it out is creepy. I lower my head. I'm sorry. Please don't tell anyone about this.
どうしてユーマが謝るんだろう僕が謝らなくちゃいけないと思ってたのに
Because blackmail. You're right. I like braids. Whenever I see them, I just feel all funny. I know it's probably nothing to be ashamed of, but it kind of makes me feel embarrassed. So I'd appreciate it if you could keep this a secret.
へえ
Even Shinku didn't realize. Shinku glares at me like I'm utter trash. It really hurts. Could you please do that for me?
分かった誰にも言わない
Thanks. Phew, what a relief.
だけどあれだねユーマは
ん
変態だったんだ
For liking a certain hairstyle. Come off it. No. I hide my face in my hands. Don't look at me like that. not a pervert. I'm not.
でも生殖機能にはまるで関係のないものに浴場するなんて、それって生物として正しくはないんじゃ。
Sexually aroused? Stop, don't say it like that. I just think that they're cute and lovely. What's wrong with that? My feelings are pure. Why do you have to go and make this out about sex?
師弟揃って変態なんだね。弟子は師匠によく似てしまうのかも。本に書いてあった通りに。
Yeah, not in that aspect. Huh? Look up my master, he said.
だってユーマの師匠は
He leans in and whispers in my ear.
されるのが好きみたいなんだよ。
My eyes fly wide open. What the hell? You're kidding, right? That can't be true. I'm floored.
そういうわけだから他のみんなの秘密もいろいろ知ってると思う。
Everyone?
うん。
Ayumu, my boy.
え？
You might just be the most dangerous person in this dorm. I underestimated you.
ごめん。あまりこういうのは良くないね。
No, using it as blackmail is not something to be proud of. He looks dejected.
みんなともっと仲良くなりたいからユーマだけじゃなくてみんなのことをよく知ろうと思ったんだけど、でもやり方を間違えたみたいだ。これからはまた別の方法を考える。
Yeah, like talking to them. Wild idea, I know. An honest way to become friends with everyone.
そう。
Well, just don't get too overzealous about it. That's all I could think of to tell him. Oh, and Ayumu? Why did you run away earlier? You were worried about Kana, weren't you? He was genuinely appreciative of that. There was no need for you to be shy.
僕は
Yeah?
ユーマが心配しているということであの子がたくさん喜ぶとそう思ったんだよ。僕は。
It's hard to discern whether that's a smile on his face or my mind is just playing tricks on me. There still seems to be something that's itching at me. But well, Ayumu isn't like other people. He's probably just expressing his compassion in his own unique way. The days seem to fly right by without school during the day. After speaking with Ayumu, I just kind of lazed around and did nothing. Before I knew it, it was dinner. It was time for dinner. I gaze across the dinner table. All of the dishes for today are lined up neatly in a row. I know I probably sound like a broken record at this point, Mio.
何が？
The cooking just looks so delicious. Thank you. Really. Because of this, I get to look forward to dinner time each and every day.
そう？
Yeah. Before all of you guys came here, my dinner mostly just consisted of microwaved meals with Suzu. Microwavable. I've never been a good cook myself, to say nothing of Suzu's ability, but we managed to get by somehow. Plain and simple. it was a pain in the ass to actually cook things. I wasn't about to go through a dozen complicated steps simply to fix a meal that fed 2 people. I could boil water and pour it if I was feeling good on that particular day. I could even chop up an onion, but that was about the extent of what I could muster up. I could muster up any willpower to do. Hence, whenever Shigure was away on business, we would eat like a pair of penny pinchers. In light of that, this current situation seems almost like a miracle. Being able to eat such wonderful food like this on a daily basis is pure bliss.
幸せってこれくらいで大げさよ。
Am I though?
だけどさ、その言い方だと私と二人で夕飯食べるのが嫌だったみたいに聞こえちゃうけど、そこのところどうなの？
He was mainly referring to the food that you ate, so no.
いきなりなんだよその顔は。何気ない質問をぶつけてみたら思いもよらない超反応だよ。
Oh, sorry. I just still can't believe that you like having that done to you. I guess the old saying really is true. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
え？あんなこと？
Don't worry about it. Oh, no, don't worry about it. That's what I say. Just forget I said anything. I'm an accepting person, so I won't think less of you for it. Whatever perverted fetishes she may or may not have, I'm not bothered by them.
だから一体何の話をしてるんだよ君は。それにそのかわいそうな子を見るような目はやめてよ。私が何をされるのが好きだっての？
Well, it's not exactly the kind of thing I can bring up at the dinner table. I mean, it's your fetish, so you should know what it is. Seriously, don't you think it's a little inappropriate to try and feign ignorance so you can bait me into bringing it up in front of everyone else?
人をそんな腐った生卵を見るような目で見て、どういうつもりなんだよ。
Something stuck on the bottom of my shoe. Yeah, that does seem like it would stick. Like it would stink.
ちょっと本気で何なの？わけわかんないんだけど。
Well, enough of that. Let's eat. We don't want the food getting cold.
ちょっとまさかこれで終わり？私の気持ちは放置なの？問題解決の時間を設けてはくれないの？
Wait a moment. Wait one moment. I look across, saw the faces seated at the dining table. Where's Kana?
かなちゃんなら2時間くらい前かな。どこかへ出かけたっきり、まだ帰ってきてないけど。
Really?
玄関先で出かける前のかなちゃんに会ったんだけど、どこ行くの？もう少しでお夕飯だよって言ったら、それまでには帰りますって言ってたんだけど。
Pretty evidently isn't, though.
そういうことになるかな。
Susan nods with a bit of a miffed expression.
それよりも、さっきの話の続きなんだけど。
Don't worry about it. I smiled broadly to convince her of my overwhelming love and affection for her. I'm not one to betray a friend. Your secret is safe with me.
だから何の話なんだよ、何の？
I'll just drop it and never speak of it ever again. I'm sure that's the best solution for both you and I.
なんだよそれ。それならわざわざ持ち出してくるなよ、その話題ってやつを。
Sorry. Sometimes I just have trouble letting sleeping dogs lie. My plan had been to get her to drop it of her own accord. Anyhow, I wish we could wait on Kana before getting started, but unfortunately, we don't have any clue when she'll be back. Plus, it would be rude to the chef to let the food go cold. Then there's also... Oh god. Although Tsukasa is doing her best to keep her hands off the food, the fact that she's salivating tells me her patience won't last much longer. I checked the time on my cell phone. Well, sorry, Kana. Shall we go ahead and eat, everyone?
そうね。それじゃあ、ラップをかけて取っておくわね。
Thanks. On that note, we all put our hands together, then begin to eat without Kana. I wonder what she's doing. Dinner had finished, and we'd even gotten done cleaning the table and everything, but Kana was still nowhere to be seen. It's getting really dark out too. I hope she's okay. Something suddenly occurs to me. Yumu did mention that Kana had been slipping out of the dorm to go somewhere before dinner. This must be what he was talking about. I just hadn't witnessed it myself until today, and this is the first time she's actually missed dinner. At the very least. The fact that this is the first time means she's always made an effort to come back before dinner. But something about today is different. Maybe something happened to her or something came up that she needed to do. If that were the case though, she could have at least gotten in contact with one of us. But maybe there's some reason why she couldn't. After saying it aloud, I start to feel the anxiety creeping up. Yumu said that something was strange about Kana's behavior as of late, and Mio noted that she was making an alarming amount of mistakes when doing tasks. There was something off about her, but it had been too subtle for me to notice. Could it be that there's something weighing on her mind to the extent that it's causing her to lose focus of her surroundings? That doesn't seem right. She smiled at me this morning when I asked her if she was alright. She said she was fine. Yeah. He said she was fine, you still don't know if she is. Maybe she was lying though. Wow, I never would have guessed. Maybe whatever it is that's eating at her is something she can't tell us about. Something she has to tackle by herself. I have to go look for her. I don't need a reason of any sort. My worry is enough of an excuse to do that. However, even if I do want to go look for her, I have no clue where to start.
Yuma.
Huh? I turn around to find a Yuma standing in front of me. Must have gotten too lost in my thoughts. Everyone else has already left the room. Only he and I remain.
帰ってこないね。
Yeah. Doesn't look like it. I wonder what she's doing. Ayumu?
ユーマはあの子のこと探しに行かないの？
Well, I want to, if possible. It's dark out and none of us have heard from her since she left. Added onto the fact that she's seemed under the weather recently, to be honest, I'm worried. I was just pondering where to start. I mean, I'd hate to go running around aimlessly and end up missing her because I was checking all the wrong places. Finding a missing person becomes ridiculously hard when you aren't carrying a cell phone on them, when they aren't carrying a cell phone on them.
知ってるよ。
Huh?
僕は知ってるよ。あの子がいる場所。
He's... What? My eyes flicker rapidly. You do? You know where Kana is? He nods.
知っているというよりも、分かってると言葉にした方が正しいのかもしれない。
Sorry, you're kinda confusing me.
とにかく分かるんだよ。僕はあの子の居場所が。
You know because of this hunch? I have a lot of things I want to ask him about. Where this hunch is coming from, but none of that matters right now. Please tell me where is Kana at?
それを教えたら、ユーマはどうする？
Go there in hopes that I'll find her? What else?
そしてここへ連れ帰る？
Of course.
それはどうして？
What do you mean, why? His response makes no sense to me. I feel like I'm the one who needs to be questioning him.
ユーマがあの子を探しに行く動機は何？
What drives me? The fact that I'm worried is the fact that I'm worried not good enough. I'm the acting manager of the dorm. It's my job to keep the residents safe. However, if I don't provide Ayumu the answer he's looking for, he might not deem my reason good enough, and that could stop him from telling me her whereabouts. No. He wouldn't do something like that, surely. I trust him, I do, but part of me feels like recently Kana isn't the only one who's been acting suspect. I've noticed that Ayumu himself is behaving a bit out of character as well.
ごめん。別に意地悪をしようと思ってるわけじゃないんだよ。僕は。
It's fine. I know you're not. But if you can, please tell me where Kana is. Thanks. Honestly though, it's probably just a case of her staying out too late. Surely nothing legitimately worrying happened to her, right? I've been blowing this whole thing out of proportion. That's what I want to believe.
そうだね。そうかもしれないよね。そうであれば一番いいよね。とにかく教えるよ。あの子が今いるだろう場所。
Amy then closes both his eyes shut.
でも一つ約束してほしいと思う。僕がユーマにあの子の居場所を教えたとか、別にそんなことは言わなくていいから、言わないでほしい。お願いだから。
You said the same thing earlier when you told me you were worried about her. Why don't you want her knowing about anything?
秘密。
You can't tell me?
そうした方がいいって思うから。繰り返すけど、別に意地悪をしたいわけじゃないんだ。
Yeah, I know. I trust you. Thanks, Ayumi replies with a nod before continuing.
とにかく早く行ってあげてほしい。あの子のところへ。もしかしたら泣いてるかもしれないんだ。あの子は。
You think she's crying?
そう。涙を流しちゃいけない決まりのあの子が泣いていいのは一人の時だけ。
How do you...
この頃あの子は元気がないように僕には見えた。気のせいだったならそれでいい。でも僕にはわからない。何かがあったんだと思う。いつもと同じように笑ってるけど、でもどこか悲しそうに見えたんだ。そういった僕の心配が何もかも杞憂だったらそれはいい。全てが徒労だったならそれが最良。でもあの子に何かあったとしても僕じゃ何もできない。あの子が悲しい時駆けつけるのがユーマだから意味があるんだって思う。
His lips curve into the faintest of smiles as he looks at me. Not trying to be mean, I remind myself, and trust him still, though. I have to wonder where this location is that she's supposedly at. Where is Kana, Yumu? Also, how does he know she's there? So that's not the question. That's not a question that needs answering right this minute. Where is she right now? He nods before disclosing to me in a hushed, almost feeble voice.
今あの子がいるのは
Lighthouse. That's what my guess is. That's what this transition is making me believe. That's what this background is making me believe. Found you. Yumu was right on the mark. I head to the location and soon thereafter I spot Kana. We're at the lighthouse located on the outskirts of town. The moon is full and bright. It's the same setting as on the night when she and I first met. What are you doing way out here? I find her standing on the balcony outside the lantern room, gazing out at the vast sea of the horizon with her hands on the guardrail.
ユマさん
She reacts in bewilderment upon turning around and seeing me.
どうしてここに
Well, I was worried because you weren't coming home. I look forward and stand next to her.
すみません。そんなつもりではなかったんですけど。
She turns her head and gazes back out at the ocean.
すぐ戻るつもりだったんですが、今日はちょっと長居しすぎてしまいました。
I look over and study her profile. Yumu had feared that she'd been crying. Thankfully, there are no tears in her eyes. However, there does seem to be a hint of sorrow in her gaze. Everything okay? I ask her that question unconsciously. I wonder why. Slight bubble of anxiety in my chest has grown into this large suffocating lump all of a sudden. Everyone's been wondering where you were. We were worried about you. Suzu also mentioned that she's seen you slipping out of the dome a lot before dinner time recently. Is this where you've always been coming, I ask, to which she nods in response, and responds by giving a soft yes.
少し考えたいことがあったんです。一人で静かに集中できるところを探してたら、ここがいいかなと思って。
Oh, okay. Certainly quiet, so long as you aren't bothered by the sounds of the waves.
それで海を見ながらいろいろと思っていたら、今日はなんだかすごく眠たくなってしまって、つい後ろのレンズ室でうとうととしてしまっていました。
And when you woke up, you realized how late it had gotten. You know, Kana, this really isn't the best place to be taking a nap. You'll catch a cold if you're not careful.
ごめんなさい。本当になんだかすごく眠くて我慢できなかったんです。それにそういうのは慣れてますし。
How does one get used to that?
それに目が覚めた時にすぐに戻ればよかったんですが、なんだかそんな気持ちにもならなくて。
Oh. Well, I guess what's done is done. So I will say, you don't want to stay out too late all by yourself like this. It can be dangerous.
はい、ごめんなさい。でもユーマさんこそどうしてここに？私を探してくれていたんですか？私がここにいることすぐにわかりましたか？ユーマさん？
Yeah, I knew right away. I lie intentionally, making it sound as though I thought of it entirely on my own. Ayumi made me swear silence. It was one of the conditions for him telling me her location. This is where we first met, right? So, well, I don't know if you'd call it some sort of sixth sense or what, but I just had a hunch that you'd be here.
きっと
Yeah, I was.
第六感。すごいですね。
He flashes a smile. I know, right? Look, I had the sixth sense, okay? Yuma is not smart enough to have that.
それはもしかして愛の力でしょうか？
Even though this is a typical response from her, there's a distinct lack of conviction to it this time.
それともさすがは魔法使いさんですと言った方がいいでしょうか？
Please stop calling me that. It's embarrassing. He only giggles. Kana,
はい。
would you be willing to tell me what it is that's been on your mind? What you've been coming out here alone day after day to think about? You fall silent. Can't discern whether this is an I can't tell you or an I don't want to tell you. There's nothing stopping me from simply dropping the subject and asking her to return to the dorm with me. That doesn't seem like the right course of action in my mind. If Khan is battling something, there's some deep issue that she's brooding over. And if there's anything at all I can do to alleviate those pains and worries. This is when I realize that my hands are balled into fists. Well, if it's not something you're comfortable talking to me about, I won't force it out of you.
いえ、言いたくないとかそういうわけでは。
Alright. How about I ask you a different question instead? You've been acting off recently. I really think so. You've just seemed depressed, kind of. Is everything okay? Did something happen? Is the thing that's eating at you too complicated to summarize in a sentence or two? even though I hadn't even noticed the subtle change in Kana's behavior. Not that I know for a fact that something's been bothering her. I could certainly see it. She's not acting herself.
すみません。本当に心配してくださっていたんですね。ユウマさんや皆さんにご迷惑をかけるつもりはなかったんです。
Don't feel bad about that. We're all only worried because we care about you.
そうですよね。ありがとうございます。
She smiles at me once again. Something about that smile just doesn't seem like her. It's like something is suppressing her true personality. I have another question, Kana.
はい。
This morning you told me you were fine. Was that a lie?
違います。
She shakes her head resolutely.
違いますよ、ユマさん。そういうわけではありません。ただ私は。
As she speaks, she suddenly begins moving. Hey, what are you doing? And for some reason, she begins to climb onto the balcony's railing, mimicking what I'd seen her do on the night in which we first met. Get down from there. You're gonna fall. I choose my words carefully. I wonder why this is. But the anxiety gripping me tells me that if I say one wrong word, I'll lose her forever. Here, take my hand. Get down from there right now.
ユウマさん、私の話聞いてもらえますか？
Your story? She nods, making not even the slightest effort to reach my outstretched hand.
確かに私はユウマさんに嘘ついていたかもしれません。さっきは違うと言いましたけど、本当はそうなのかもしれません。やっぱり魔法使いなユウマさんには隠し事なんかできませんよね。うまくやっているつもりだった私がバカみたいです。私、なんだか少し自分が恥ずかしいです。
Ashamed? But why?
レンちゃんは言ってましたよね。お母さんにごめんなさいって言えなかったけど、それでも私は強い子だから。だから大丈夫。だから平気。だから笑うんだって。そう言ってましたよね。
Right. I don't know if she said she was perfectly alright, but I do remember her saying something along those lines, yeah?
はい。でも、私にはそうできません。大切な人にごめんなさいが言えなかった私は、今も自分が許せない。わがままばかりでどうしようもなかった自分が。あんな小さな子がたった一晩で超えられたものを、私はずっと何年も何年も後悔ばかりしています。
Those two reminded me so much of my own mum, yet we were nothing alike in the end. Ren is incredibly strong, unlike me. I worry that If I don't strain my ears, her very voice will be swept away by the sea breeze.
ユマさん、聞いてほしいです。それで何をしてほしいというさもしい期待をしているわけじゃないんです。ただ聞いてほしい。ユマさんにそうしてもらえるだけで私楽になるような気がするんです。
If you think it'll help, I'll gladly listen.
ありがとうございます。まだ依頼料の貯金は必要な金額に達していません。そういう意味も含めて聞いてくれるだけでいいんです。
That's right. She and I did make a promise, a contract of that nature. It had somewhat slipped my mind.
私は迷子なんです。
You're lost?
はい。この年で帰る場所がわからない迷子なんですよ。
He smiles, adding, "Isn't that funny considering how old I am?"
あの日ここでお母さんとはぐれてからずっと何年もずっと私は迷子をしています。少し話は長くなってしまうかもしれませんがいいですか？
Absolutely. I nod. I'll listen to everything you want to tell me. I'll listen all night and day. Or even longer than that, if that's what you need, so please. So please get down from there. Just take my hand. I can't calmly listen to her while she's standing at the top of that railing. The anxiety and fear, the trepidation, the anxiety, the fear, the trepidation, it would consume me.
ごめんなさい。なんだか風が気持ちよくって、あと眺めもいいです。そういうものがいろいろと話しやすくしてくれるような気がするんです。
So please allow me to stay up here just a little longer, she pleads.
あれは10年くらい昔のことでした。私、この町にお母さんと来たんです。目的は夏祭りでした。お母さんと最後に過ごす夏の終わりの日、私はお母さんにひどいことを言って迷子になって、そうしてそこで私は小さな魔法使いさんに会ったんです。
Anna continues, detailing her experience with eloquence. She recounts a distant memory of hers that no longer exists within my head. I wasn't able to notice anything. I hadn't noticed that there was something wrong with you until someone else came to me and pointed it out. Considering that, will I really be able to do anything to alleviate the pain in your heart? A sort of fretful impatience begins to sting at me.
私のお母さんは生まれつき体が弱くて、子供の頃から大きな病院に入退院を繰り返していたそうです。
Anna peers out beyond the ocean, toward the horizon as she begins to recount her memories.
そんなお母さんですから、結婚して私を産んで、それが体に大きな負担となって、さらに病院での生活が多くなったと言います。 だからお母さんは家にいることも少なくて、自然私にはお母さんとの思い出もあまりありません。一緒に遊んだ記憶もほとんどないんです。それでもお母さん子だったまだ小さかったあの頃の私は、大好きなお母さんと一緒にいられないのが寂しくて、なんだか誰かに不公平を強制されているような気がして、自分がすごくかわいそうな子だと思い込んでました。もしかするとお母さんに意地悪されてるとまで考えていたかもしれません。あの時の私は。私の大好きなお母さん、綺麗で優しくていい匂いがして憧れだった。それなのに私の大好きを分かってくれないお母さんはひどいって。
Maybe I was only convincing myself it was her fault as a sort of coping mechanism. Kind of continues. I really was an awful daughter. And then, on a certain summer day, Mum was put back in the hospital.
小さな私は思いました。どうしよう、お母さんがまた入院しちゃう。それにお父さんが言ってた。今回はいつもよりずっと長くなるかもしれないって。だけど、それは嘘だった。私、聞いちゃったんですよね。お母さんがあさってには病院に行かなくちゃいけない日のその夜に、お父さんと親戚のおじさんが居間でひそひそお話ししているのを。
Why, God? What have we done to deserve this cruel punishment? My father would weep every night as he pressed his crossed arms against his chest and prayed to some god from some foreign land. My uncle grew furious. There's no goddamn god in this world. What the hell did my sister do to deserve this? He prayed devoutly every single day. You treat your neighbors with kindness and respect. Where is your God now? Why is he allowing this to happen? This is why we don't believe in that phony religion anymore. I knew that what this meant. My mom was not going to come home. That was what their words had meant. Her illness had progressed. The doctors had all but given up. Her time left in this world was dwindling. And ultimately,
お母さんは病気に負けて死んでしまう。入院が長くなるんじゃなくて帰ってこれない。そういったことを二人は泣きながら言っていました。そんな暗くて冷たい言葉ばかりがあの部屋には充満していて、でもその時の私には死ぬということがどういうものなのか正しく理解できませんでした。それだけ小さい私だったんです。心も体も。ただそれでもお母さんがどこか遠くへ行ってもう戻ってきてくれないと、それだけのことはなんとなくわかりました。私バカでした。こともあろうか、またお母さんが私に意地悪するんだって、また私を一人にするんだって、そんなどうしようもないことを考えてふてくされてしまったんです。
I still remember the conversation my father and uncle had. Anna really loves her mother so much. I just don't know what to do. She might never get out of the grief of losing her, my father said. My uncle then spoke. There's a summer festival in the next town over tomorrow. I forgot how many exactly they said, but supposedly there's gonna be thousands of fireworks. Maybe she can go with her mum and share one final happy memory. My father nodded in agreement. That sounds like a fine idea. I suppose that's all we can truly do for Kana at this point. My uncle nodded solemnly. We need to come up with realistic and pragmatic ways to fight back in times of tragedy, instead of averting our eyes and praying for a miracle. That's far healthier.
立ち向かう。立ち向かう。おじさんは立ち向かうと言いました。悲しいことに立ち向かう。それなら、私は祈るよりもまず先に何に対して立ち向かうべきなのか考えました。